So, you want to know if the dead can affect the living. In my culture, we have two references for the dead, the mo, and we have the zombie. Now, when we speak of the dead, we can look at mo as an individual who has made their transition, and that can encompass the body as well, right? Now, we have zombie. Zombie is the energy of the living. Now, I know a lot of people have this thought of what they've heard via documentaries. Oh, this person was poisoned and they end up waking up, etc., and they've been made to work on plantations. Now, this is a whole nother dynamic. This is a whole nother study of I'm not going to get into that, but let's just say this is a whole scientific discussion, because we're no longer dealing with spirit and energy anymore. And that type of conversation, that's going to be reserved for another video. In the part of the world that I'm from, we do believe that the dead can affect the living. And most of the time, this is brought upon by malicious people. You know, contrary to what we find throughout the annals of history, such as vampires or the spirit of the dead rising to come haunt the living. See, when the dead is usually sent after someone, it is for reasons of justice, reasons of malice. There could be many reasons why a person summons the dead to go after someone. For the dead to affect you, there's got to be an opening. Now, what do I mean by this opening? Usually they'll find vulnerable places to affect you. Vulnerable places in your life, vulnerable places in your health. But most of the time, the dead, we can pretty much say that they have a close connection to affecting the living via health. Now, when we're speaking of this zombie, the zombie is the energetic body of the physical body. It is a direct copy. Now, what you may find is that a lot of people, especially when they have problems with someone, they may go to a cemetery to summon that dead to seek justice or revenge. Now, when this dead is summoned to harm someone, it takes some time before the effects begin to make itself present. Now, if we're talking about black magic, it can affect someone through their health, where they feel pain in their body and they go to the doctor and they can't find anything. Sometimes it can even result in physical illnesses, such as cancer. Now, when you look at the individual, the first couple of days, you may not see nothing. First couple of weeks, you may not see nothing. And this, as time goes on, that you begin to see the simple signs, if you're able to read those signs. Physiologically, looking at an individual, we can give a hint to whether or not they're under the influence of witchcraft, because the individual begins to exhibit signs of extreme fatigue. They go to sleep, they do everything, but they're still tired. As time goes on, you begin to see that they start developing black rings around their eyes. They're eating food, but they're still losing weight. Signs. Now, I know You may start off with fatigue at first, right? A person, they're constantly fatigued, they're constantly tired, they constantly got a lot of things going on, you know, and when you look at them, they look as if they've been smoking or they've been high. So again, this is this is like the onset of the influence. As time goes on, it can branch into other things, arguments and fights with other people. But ultimately, when we're speaking of the dead, we're looking at how it affects someone, and how it usually affects someone is through their health. So as time goes on, you begin to see, as the person moves sluggish, that they begin to lose weight. Now they may start becoming skinny, and that sometimes it can manifest to a person not taking care of themselves, neglecting themselves. You know, their hair looks crazy, they don't take a bath, they don't care anymore. Now, I know there can be physical diseases as to why this occurs, but a person can go to a doctor and a doctor doesn't find anything that notifies them as to what the ailment is. They're left in animated suspension or suspended animation. Correction. Like with anything, there's always an exception to a rule. Just because you may see this spirit affect one person one way, it doesn't mean that it'll affect another person the same way. You can't limit the dead to, let's just say, illness, because it can affect a person psychologically as well. I've seen people that became very psychotic, where yes, they can interact with you as a normal person, but then you piss them off, they may try to take a meat cleaver and try to harm you. They may get to the point where they try to commit vehicular homicide on you. Over a minor discussion, they just lose control of themselves. Usually I've seen that what people do is that they try to get help. And usually when these people try to get help, they either join religions, they try to get therapy, they try to get something to get a grip and control over their lives. This right here is usually consistent. When a person feels that they're under attack by a ghost, spirit of the dead, what usually happens is they try to go to get help. Some may join religions, some may try to get baptized, some may even seek counseling, because the voices that they may hear in their head or the events that may occur scare them straight, usually. So, now that you've seen this video, you're probably wondering, how can I protect myself from this? You don't want this thing to happen to you. Well, I would say this: dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and leave people the fuck alone.